everyone, welcome back to my channel. So I'm gonna make this quick because we are going to a few different thrift stores today. Woo! I'm really hoping that means that we're actually gonna find some stuff today, but you know, we'll see. I found a different thrift store that I'm gonna try out, and next week I'm gonna try out a different thrift store too. Hopefully they mean we can find some good stuff. But of course, I'll put the timestamp right here if you want to fast forward right to the haul. But without further ado, let's go thrifting.
I keep losing friends and losing hours. I can't comprehend where I've gone wrong throughout my life. I've been sleeping in and skipping showers. Daylight's creeping in, but I can't open up my eyes. So sick of heartbreaks, mistakes, losing my cool. These lazy Sundays, always thinking it through. Now I'm missing all the days when I had nothing to lose. And now I'm talking to myself and saying I'm so sick of you. Home in quite a while. Always on my phone, but got no time to say hello. I wish I didn't have to fake this smile, nah. Cause everyone I know just seems so happy on their own. So sick of heartbreaks, mistakes, losing my cool. These lazy Sundays, always thinking it through. Now I'm missing all the days when I had nothing to lose. And now I'm talking to myself and saying I'm so sick of you. Mistakes, losing my cool. These lazy Sundays, always thinking it through. Now I'm missing all the days when I had nothing to lose. And now I'm talking to myself and saying I'm so sick of you. Don't end up together, I'm gonna lose my mind. And if this life really does go on forever, I know I choose you every time. You say you're the only one for me, yeah. So if you love me, then tell me how much longer do I have to wait? I'm not getting any stronger, I'm losing my faith. And I could be wrong, but I swear it's true. Yeah, even if the world gives up on us, I won't give up on you.
You want a forever thing, I'm taking my time thinking, just so I'm sure what we're doing.
Okay, so this is the second time around that I'm actually recording this. The first time that I record this, unfortunately, everything was out of focus. And I didn't realize it until I was editing. So, part 2, here we go. So there's obviously something that I cannot hide whatsoever. So I'm going to start off with this one. It is this huge board right here. I don't think this is actually like a cutting board to use. Not that I would ever use it for a cutting board anyways. My guess is it's probably like a large charcuterie board. This piece right here is gorgeous, Lo. I love the wood grain in it. It is large. By far the largest piece that I've ever found at the thrift store. This one solely for me is like purely decorating purposes. I love it and I want to make room for it, so I'm definitely going to do that. I think I'm actually going to mount it on the wall instead of kind of like styling it somewhere. So this one was $24.99. I will be honest and say that my initial reaction was like, wow, that's a little pricey. Then I was like, you know what? I'm going to put it in my cart. I'm going to think about it. I decided to pull out my phone, check it out, see what comps were when it comes to like these style pieces. So, apparently, I don't know what things cost outside of thrift stores because this was, like, I was seeing hundreds of dollars for this kind of style, which, that's shocking. Apparently, I'm really out of touch with this sort of thing, though. Upwards of hundreds of dollars for, like, this kind of size. You know what? When it comes to that, I'm just gonna stick to my thrift store prices, but that did actually put me in check and be like, okay, you shouldn't be complaining about $24.99 then. So after seeing that, I was like, okay, this is a pretty good deal. So I'm happy that I picked this one up. It kind of was a splurge for me because it's not something I necessarily needed, nor was it something that I was actively looking for in the moment, but solid win. So next up at Goodwill was this little watering can right here. Saw it, immediately had to pick it up. Actually passed over another watering can that was more of a brass tone because the copper one was calling my name. I honestly think it's just a cute shape. It's adorable. Like a watering can like this is so awesome. So it says it's made in England. I think over time it will age even more, which is awesome. But yeah, this is so pretty. This one I'm definitely going to be styling on a hook as well. This style for whatever reason reminds me of Wizard of Oz, like the oil can. It's an old-timey style, not necessarily a vintage piece, but regardless, love the overall style of it. This one was $7.99, which I think is reasonable. Honestly, just too adorable for me to pass up. Let me just preface the next few things that I'm gonna say. I picked them up solely because they were so adorable. I tried to limit myself to a couple, but I did pick up a lot more than I thought I would. So we have here these little tiny brass and copper trinkets. This one is almost like a kettle. Fortunately, it's missing the top. This one looks like it's supposed to be like a coffee grinder. I mean, come on. So cute and adorable. Truthfully, no reason for me to pick this up, yet I did. So I limited myself to 4, although I told myself less than that. Ended up getting more than I thought I would. For these ones, I'm gonna totally blame 8-year-old Rachel right now and say that 8-year-old Rachel was so obsessed with little tiny trinkets like this. I used to make miniature houses for my pet rock. I don't know if anyone else was like that, but I totally made a bunch of those gem rocks with googly eyes. They had families. They had houses. I'd go scouring through our house and go in the junk drawers to pick up miscellaneous things so I can make like tables and beds and stuff like that. So I'm gonna blame 8-year-old Rachel on this. Absolutely have no reason for me to have these other than that I thought that they were just cute. So here we are. They're cute. They do have a stamp saying that they were made in Holland. And like I said before, it looks like it's a combination of brass and copper. This one I feel like I'm probably gonna hang on one of the hooks that I have on my peg rack. But the other 3, not really sure where I'm going to put them. I will find a space for them. So they were $1.99. Maybe a slightly quirky purchase for me, but love them regardless. Okay, keeping in line with tiny, tiny things, I managed to pick up these 2 brass bells as well. So I was gifted by my father-in-law a few old vintage bells. These past few years during the holiday season, you usually see like bell garlands. And I kind of wanted to create one of my own, but made all from like different vintage bells. So I'm really excited to actually like do that, but obviously it's taking some time to like collect them all. But these 2 additional ones will definitely help out. This first one has like the leaf carving. I have a lot of brass that has this type of carving. It's a really cute and adorable shape, so I really like this one. This one was $1.99, but this one right here was actually my favorite out of the 2. This one appears to be a hammered brass bell, a cute adorable cone shape, and a really small hole at the top so you can actually string it to something. This one really won my heart, and this is the one that I actually found first before this one right here, so definitely had to pick it up because of that. And this one was $2.99, but all in all, I will say 2 tiny bells for this price, well worth it to me. Next up is this metal green storage box. This one is great. I honestly picked this one up because I just love the style of it. It has a little bit of a push-in latch so you can open it. It does also have a hole so you can lock it if you want to. And it's got a little metal handle as well. Honestly, just a great storage box for miscellaneous items. All around a great piece. It's got a great style. It's starting to rust a little bit in some areas, but with that being said, wouldn't necessarily know for sure whether or not it's vintage. So definitely not the style that I normally decorate my home in, but still was one of those pieces that caught my eye, and so I had to pick it up. So the next place I went to was a different thrift store. It is actually like a thrift store consignment shop. So the one thing that I did pick up from this store though was this piece right here. It's a combination of brass and copper, once again. Apparently a common thing going on today. Really love this handle. This short kind of like pudgy style is very cute. So I looked it up, and most of the postings I saw on it were just calling it a small vintage jug. This is definitely going to be a kitchen styling item for sure. I think it would be great to hang up on a rack, but personally I'm leaning towards having it styled on the shelf. This piece was made in England though, and the place that I went to was charging $8.99 for it. The cheapest that I saw it selling online was $25. So even it being a resale shop, I'd say $9. That's a really good price. But I'm always looking for other places to go to, and this one I feel like the inventory was great and the prices in most cases were reasonable. So this new place is definitely going to be one that I frequent. And so I went to one last thrift store. I haven't been there in ages, and I figured I'd check it out because it's not that far from where I was originally, but managed to find these baskets right here, and these are perfect for what I had in mind for my kitchen. I've been looking forever for flat back baskets, and so when I saw these at the thrift store, I had to pick them up. I also really like the fact that you can stack them inside, so if I wanted to hang them on one hook, I could kind of just hang them together like this. Home decors in this specific thrift store is 50% off on Saturdays. So this one was originally $3.50, so it ended up being $1.75, and this one was $3, so $1.50. So all in all, cute little baskets that I can use in my kitchen that are just gonna kind of round up the space a little bit more and hopefully bring to fruition what I have in mind for my kitchen. And last but not least is not something that I picked up this time around when I was thrifting. However, I just went thrifting and didn't bring my camera, so I figured I would actually show you these in this haul. I picked up vintage books. Now these were only $1 each, which is honestly like a prime deal for me. I love when I can find vintage books for $1, and pretty good vintage books at that. So I did kind of pass up on a few. However, I picked out these ones that were my favorites. This one is called Plays and Stories. This one right here is just a really beautiful green, and it has a very faint emblem on it. And the first edition of this book was published in 1937. So a great vintage book at a really great price in my opinion. These two, hopefully I'm saying that right, it's The History of Herodotus Volume 1 and Volume 2. This is a very faint green, and again it has like a emblem on the front of it. The artistry on this spine is absolutely beautiful. Even if you weren't interested in reading this, just having this displayed on your bookshelf, so cool. So for Volume 1, first edition was printed in 1910, and they reprinted it multiple years, the last one being in 1927. And for Volume 2, 1910 was the first edition and reprinted multiple years, the last one being in 1926, so a year before Volume 1, oddly enough. And last but not least is this gray blue book. It is called Light in August by William Faulkner. The book itself on the outside looks kind of basic, but like inside it is actually pretty cool, like the inner pages of it. Great condition in my opinion. Fortunately, the very first page with the copyright was ripped out, so unfortunately I have no idea when this was printed, but Still really great in my opinion to find this. If I had to guesstimate, I'd say this one is slightly newer than the others, but not by much. But all in all, $4 for 4 vintage books, can't beat that in my opinion. So after almost a few months of struggling to find things at the thrift store, it's been great to have a decent haul, but so amazing to actually discover new places and revisit old places, only to find some really great things. But if you liked this video, or if you liked anything from the haul, definitely make sure you give it a thumbs up. But I want to say thank you so much for watching, and thank you for thrifting with me. I hope you enjoyed it, and so I will see you in the next one.